Partial fractions part 2. So to add these three fractions together, I can multiply the denominators and then looking at the first fraction, we have 5 in the denominator, so I need to multiply the numerator 2 with 7 times 6. Looking at the second fraction, so we have 3 in the numerator, 7 is in the denominator, so this time we multiply by 5 times 6. And the third fraction here, we have 1 in the numerator, 6 in the denominator, the 6 there, so this time we multiply by 5 times 7. And then we simplify, and we can verify this just using the calculator. We get the same answer, and we're looking at this because we're going to do something similar to this in example 2, but with algebraic fractions. So to split this fraction into 3 partial fractions, because we have 3 factors of x, and based on each factor we have a fraction. Multiplying the denominators together, we have a common denominator, and now we need to take the a. In the denominator in this fraction we have x plus 1, the x plus 1 there, so we're going to multiply by these two factors, x minus 2, x plus 5, and then we have a plus, and then b, the denominator here is x minus 2, this one, so the other two are x plus 1, x plus 5, we multiply by the other two. And in the third fraction here we've got c, x plus 5 in the denominator, the x plus 5, so we multiply by x plus 1, x minus 2. So now we have this fraction as being equal to this single fraction, and the denominator here is the same as the denominator here, which means the numerator here is equal to this numerator. So if we equate the two numerators to each other, so we will write down a new equation where this numerator is equal to this numerator, we get this. If we substitute in x equals minus 1, everywhere where it says x, just substitute in x equals minus 1. So on the right hand side of this equation we have x plus 1, so that becomes 0, which means all of this becomes 0. If we put in x equals minus 1 here, that factor there, it becomes 0 times all the other bits, also becomes 0. So we're just left with this part. So now we have to substitute in x equals minus 1 into here and work out the value of a. So we get a is equal to 1. To work out b, if we substitute x equals 2, so this x minus 2 factor becomes 0, so all of this will cancel, and if we put in x equals 2 here, that's 0 times the rest, that cancels. We're just left with this, and if we substitute in x equals 2 we can work out b. So b is equal to minus 2. To work out c, we enter x equals minus 5. If you put minus 5 in here, you get 0 in this factor, times the rest is 0, and the same thing is true here. So this time we get c is equal to 3. So A was equal to 1, B is minus 2, so we can write that like this, and C is 3. To check if these are correct, I'm going to enter some dummy value for x into the left hand side of the equation, but I can't pick minus 1, 2 or minus 5, otherwise I end up dividing by 0, which will give you a math error on your calculator. So let's say if I select something like 3.2 and I store that in memory X. Now I need to type all of this in. Press equals, and that's the value of this fraction when x is equal to 3.2. Now we need to do the same for the right hand side using the same value of x, and we get the same answer. So these are correct, we've verified that.